All right, welcome back. In this series, we're gonna be talking about how to use a sales-based business with a passive income or an assets-based business. So most people that follow me for real estate, flipping houses and rentals. If that's not how you follow me, then first, welcome to the conversation because that's what we're gonna be talking about here. But we really wanna talk about how sales work with assets, right? Because if we just are a sales-based business, yes, we can potentially make a high income, but we're gonna have a massive tax liability and we're never really gonna be building anything for the future. For the most part, sales can't be sold, right? If somebody's paying me, I can't turn around and resell that. It's just me making money. But assets and passive income, that can be sold. And so that's something that we can be looking at for the future. So the first one I want to talk about is your sales and your overhead. So you have to have sales going on in your business to simply cover overhead, right? Otherwise, the only way we can cover that overhead is if we have a big enough, continuity or passive income, coming in to where it's covering everything. But that's usually not the case and probably not the best use for it. We're gonna get into that in a second. But we have to be able to bring in sales, right? So we've always got to be, working on that active side of the business to bring in sales to cover overhead. I do recommend you keep overhead as low as possible so that you're not burning yourself out focusing on constantly selling. Instead, you can sell and focus on sales, and do it well. So what I recommend is, having your wholesales and your flips going on the side, right, to where you're covering your overhead and you're covering your costs. And then the stuff that's coming in that is good, that you're good assets, you get to keep those. And we're gonna get to that in a second. So 2 is having your sales come in so you can cover your reserves. We talked about that in one of the previous videos, but you've got to have those reserves built, right? Those reserves give you the cushion to make smart decisions, to be forward thinking, and not to be irrational or emotional, but instead be very strategic and smart about the decisions you make. So you've got to always have those sales coming in. If by chance you decide you want to scale your business a little bit or hire more employees or whatever it is, then you can always build out reserves, right? You want to build the reserves to keep up with your business and your overhead. And then 3rd is the assets and keep the best. So this is probably the thing that I personally regret the most in my career to this point is, I've purchased so many good assets over the years, like fantastic deals. But because I didn't have the first 2 in place, I had to sell those good assets. Assets that now would have me making more millions than I already have. Like it would have set me up extremely well, but because I didn't know these first 2, I had to sell the assets. So when it comes to your assets and your sales, be selling everything, right? Be selling everything and then keep the best. So the motto I live by is keep the best, wholesale the rest, right? Focus on the sales, focus on the sales, focus on the sales, cover your overhead, build reserves. And then as you get those opportunities for those deals, those really good deals, that's when you pounce, right? Because your reserves, your sales are taken care of, and now you can focus on obtaining and holding those really good assets that are gonna pay you forever or long into your future, right? And then the last stage is reinvesting and compounding. So here's the golden goose that most people don't ever do, they don't even think about. So we've talked a little bit about passive income to this point, but the mistake that I feel that most people make is they bring in their passive income and then they start living off of it. If you bring in a passive income source and then you reinvest that passive income source, you wouldn't believe what that grows into. That is compounding taking place. You do that over the course of 20 or 30 years, and that is going to turn into something massive down the road. But without doing this in the right order, it's very hard to ever get to that point, right? So most people, so let's say like landlords, for example, most of them don't have sales coming in. So because they don't have sales coming in, their real estate is paying for all their operations, it's paying for all their overhead, and then they're living off of whatever that remaining passive income is, okay? And And then three, or last, they're not ever getting to that point of reinvesting their passive income. They're just buying maybe more real estate with it, or with their equity, but they're not in that place where they're really reinvesting it for a compounding approach. And that's what can take a person from moderately wealthy to extremely wealthy, is that compounding, right? That's what takes place at the end. So that's the end stage, that's what we want to get to, but without having these other pieces in place, very hard to get to that point. Hey, thanks for watching. If you would, please go over to marklaneeducation.com and check it out. I should have plenty of free resources for you there to help you on this journey of real estate, of your wealth building, help you become better, more prosperous, more financially free. Check it out now, download one of the free resources, and I will see you on the inside.